Bienvenidos. Soy la Bruja Espinada, and I am here with a very special new moon in Cancer reading. So let's get started. What messages do you have on this new lunar cycle? What intentions need to be set? Oh, okay. So we start off strong with the Death card. This doesn't mean anything bad. Excuse me. This is, I think for the last 3 readings, there has been the Death card. And considering that it is a brand new lunar cycle, and Cancer has a lot to do with emotions and the true raw soft feelings that are inside, and death has a huge part to play in really channeling those emotions. So let's see what else is gonna follow that with the bottom of the deck, having the Ace of Wands. That's something very good. Determination, strength, power, the Sun. It's always good to get the Sun. The Sun is a symbol of vitality, a symbol of strength, a symbol of abundance, a symbol of happiness. You have the Four of Cups. Well. I know a few people that are going to be triggered by what I have to say about this card, but this card, when we get to it, we have the Six of Wands. We have the Two of Swords. We've had this one come out a few times too. We have the Ten of Pentacles. Beautiful card. Two of Pentacles. The Knight of Swords, the Six of Pentacles, and the Nine of Wands. I was going to stop there, but then we have the Three of Swords, the Chariot. I'm going to stop there. Well, and the World. There I'm gonna stop. And surprisingly, we have a card, and I feel like I have to stop here because it's flipped over. This is the back of the way that the cards look, and we have one of these. I flipped it over just because I was very curious, so I'm gonna leave that one there. It's gonna be a surprise at the end. So let's get on with the death. So like I said before, I've said it time and time and again, death is not in the literal sense. Again, death of ego, death of something that no longer serves you, death to the walls you've been putting up. There has to be some change. Something needs to be let go. It's come up several times, to be honest, and considering that it came up with the summer equinox reading and then the full moon reading, and now again in the new moon reading, and it's been back to back. Go back to see the other readings. This has come out back to back. It is necessary because there is growth that is about to happen. There is new things coming, new things to be born, new things to be passionate about. And again, the sun is that indicator that you want to have. There is a lot of rebirth. There's a lot of obvious growth. There's sunflowers here. Sunflowers is indicative of abundance because of the seeds. From one sunflower, you get many more sunflowers from the seeds that come from the head. That's typically with any flower, but the sunflower is the major indicator of that. A lot of growth, a lot of abundance, good things to be had. However, someone's stubborn ass, and the reason why this is coming out is it's coming out. Someone's being stubborn, because this, what I feel from it is someone having a tantrum. This is the sound I get is like a little kid. Someone's not getting what they want, but they refuse to turn around to see what's waiting for them. They don't want to move forward. They're so used to their them not getting their way or things not working out that they don't see the growth or the what's awaiting them, something better, and yet they just want to sit there and wallow in their misery without giving that chance, taking that stepping into the light, turning around to understand that there's still hope around the corner. And it's understandable, because with the Six of Wands, the Six of Wands is, this gives like a wink or a nod to the story of Icarus. If you're familiar with the story of Icarus, it's a Greek story. Icarus is someone who is determined, and they understand that you can make things happen. So Icarus is an inventor, and Icarus decides to create wings in order to fly. And so Icarus uses wax and feathers to create these big wings that allow him to fly. And so Icarus makes wings for himself, and he makes wings for his nephew. Now he tells his nephew, be very careful, because as the wax heats, it will melt and your feathers will fall off. Well, they go flying together, and Icarus's nephew then sees a soaring bird and thinks, I want to get as high as that bird. So there Icarus's nephew goes, flying higher and higher and higher, and Icarus is yelling to him, don't fly too high. Don't fly too high. Don't fly too high. And yet the nephew, still wanting to reach this level, despite being warned what could happen, he does not heed. He continues to try to push the limits and reach the level or heights of this bird he sees in the sky. Well, sure enough, what he thinks is the sweat from his strenuous work, flapping his arms, trying to reach the same height as that bird, it is the melting wax. And so little does he notice, because he's trying so hard, he doesn't notice all the feathers flying off of him. And what happens? He loses all the feathers and he plummets to his death into the ocean. So, new beginnings and death. Icarus, the Six of Wands. Now, this does not, the moral of the story is, it's not, if you work too hard, you won't get where you're going. It's definitely not that. But there are words of there are lessons that you learn, and sometimes, I'm not saying do it all the time, and sometimes advice that's given to you gets brushed off. Because granted, it may be unsolicited advice, but some advice, when you hear it, you can filter it. You have that ability to let one thing you hear go in and out of your ear. And that doesn't mean listen to all the advice that you had, but you know which advice does apply to you. And in this instance, that doesn't mean that everything that you tried in the past doesn't mean that you'll ever succeed. That's not what that means. It's you keep striving for the same thing over and over, and you're not, you're striving for the same thing. You have to go down a different path. This path that you've been trying, and you've been trying the same way over and over, it's not working. And it's not gonna work. You have to try something different. That isn't to say that you shouldn't strive for the things that you want. You have to reframe and rethink. And think about, after any difficulties, obstacles, or failures you may have encountered, was there lessons that you know, that you say, I know, and yet despite the I knowing, you haven't done it, and you still refuse to do it? You still refuse to do it. And yet that would be the biggest difference. You just have to choose. And it's not like you're blindly choosing. You're just, you need to cut the bullshit out, cut it out. You know, it's, you can't just blindly choose. You have to wisely choose that. And you want this growth. You want these blessings. You want to have, you have been striving and working so hard, and you have yet to feel this growth. This is what you've been striving for: security, reassurance, rest, a feeling of peace. And it's like, you're always having a balancing act, right? It's this choice on, sometimes you're like, you know what, right now it's either I choose my passions or I choose paying the bills this month. And it's that concept of like, well, either I invest in myself or I have nothing to eat. And it's not saying that, okay, starve while you put in the monies to investment. No. Remember, these are lessons that you learn. Is, okay, you know what? There are some things that I should be cutting back on, and yet you don't. And while it's okay to treat yourself sometimes, if there's something that you know that those resources could be better used for a better investment, it's not like you're gonna go without for the rest of your life. In those little pleasures. But if it's a temporary, like, you know what, not right now, because by this time I hope to save this. And sometimes things happen and they pop up and you're like, damn, that's not what I wanted to save that money for. It's just, those little hiccups are there for a reason. And while they definitely suck, it's that sense of you becoming more disciplined. I was trying to think of the word, because we have the Knight of Swords. Remember, the Knight of Swords is not quite the Queen, not quite the King. They are the protector. The Knight protects the King and the Queen. When it comes to the Knight of Swords, it's someone who's learned a little bit more. Learning a little bit more where to cut the bullshit, how to make known what needs to be done. And you're not going to go without forever. If you have learned these lessons, if you apply what you need to apply, I get that sense of like, there needs to definitely be quite some change. That's why the Death is here. If the Death is here, and mind you, 3rd time's a charm, it's come out 3 times back to back. there has to be a decision of change. You, excuse me, are in the I know. You need to stop with the I know and start applying what you know. You're striving for something, and yet it's this strange balancing act, and you wind up choosing things that make things difficult for yourself in the end. And my question to you is like, don't you want your happy ending? Don't you want your happy ending? Don't you want your happy ending? Because we have the Six of Pentacles here. So the Six of Pentacles comes after the Five of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles has been traditionally seen as financial burden, financial struggles, two people wandering in the snow outside of what looks to be a stained glass window that has Five Pentacles. But the Six of Pentacles is after learning better resource management. There's fruits of that labor. And it's not like you haven't struggled. You've struggled quite a bit because, again, it's come out for the past 3 readings. We've had the Nine of Wands. Struggle, 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 struggle. A lot of hard work, a lot of hurt, a lot of pain. And it's not going to be that way forever. And the reason why I say this is because we have the Chariot. The Chariot is that indicator of things are going to be speeding up. This is a reminder that you are the master and holder of the reins of where you want to go. You can determine your own speed. You can determine which way you lead because you are the driver of the Chariot. And you want the world or don't you? What are your goals? What are your aspirations? What are your dreams? Now, the card that I wasn't going to flip over because I knew I was going to stop there, but I think that this card needed to be pulled is because it is the Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups is to me, it's very amusing in this reading specifically, because you might be saying, well, where do I even start? And this card is the answer to that. It's the just pick something. Pick something. Pick anything that you're passionate about, that you've been interested in, that you've wanted to learn. Pick anything. Just pick anything. And you will be able to make some success out of it. There's going to be success. There's a sun radiating from this brand new opportunity that's being presented to you. And like I stated to you, abundance, happiness, growth, it's here. Quit being a stubborn little child. Quit acting like a child. You're grown. And this is not to demean you or insult you. It's a wake-up call. Wake up. Because you're in this state acting like you don't know what to choose when you can choose anything. But remember your lessons and what hasn't worked out for you. You know what's not going to work. And you will have this abundance. But if you got a penny pinch for a little bit, you're going to see the results. So, just pick anything as long as it's not the same thing. So, on that note, Mighty Fates, what lesson do you have to add for our watchers in this reading? We have 2. We have the Get Wild card. And we have Movement. So, here it is. Get Wild. So, to connect with our wild nature is to bring ourselves into a state of balance. Having been raised in a culture that favors order, control, discipline, and obligatory respect for authority, many of us get a feeling of danger when we start to veer off the given path. This card is asking you to spend some time in the primal, intuitive aspect of yourself. What immediately comes to mind when you think of that part of you? If your wild self was a movement, what would it be? If it wasn't a sound, what would the sound be? If it was a song, what is the song? Spend some time asking yourself what it means to you to get wild, and then make time and space for that. Very interesting. So, movement. Physical movement can quick start major shifts in our internal and external worlds. While this movement can take any form, keep in mind that the type of movement we do can invite the emotions and experiences associated with it. Intense and vigorous movement can help us access our motivation, power, and fire. Slow and methodical movements can help us tap into our deeper feelings and is especially helpful in releasing, healing, and deeper work. When we move our body, we are allowing any stuck or stagnant energies within us to flow, bringing space for the new. What type of movement do you need? How can you incorporate it into your day more? Well. Very interesting. So, getting wild makes a lot of sense with the Ace of Wands, because this calls for passion. Something that you enjoy to do. So what are the things that you enjoy to do? And movement, well, you can't just cry over spilled milk. You can't just pout and wallow about things that haven't worked out. When things are waiting for you. Oh, sorry. Okay. We have, speaking of movement, slow and steady wins the race. So maybe that's a hint of what kind of movement you should be doing. And then Buffalo Spirit, the abundant universe will provide. I don't make this shit up, guys. But there is one other card. I think this has to do with the Get Wild, be fearless and bold. So let's get on with it. Let's start with Turtle Spirit. Turtle Spirit. Turtle Spirit arrives to remind you that when you do what you need to do, putting one foot in front of the other and trusting that you will see your intentions manifest in perfect timing, your prosperity and love will grow exponentially. Now is not the time to rush around trying to force matters. Move slowly. Perhaps even so slowly that it almost feels as if you're not moving at all. So remember, with the movement card and that reminder that you are in charge of the way that you move, choose to move slow. This may be a time to crawl before walking. Take your time to align with Turtle Spirit. To Turtle Spirit's place as you contemplate this road you are on, doing what you need to do in this small moment that will soon pass. Turtle Spirit reminds you that sometimes the best action is to slow right down, so it feels as if you're not doing enough. Now, know that simply being aware of what is happening right now may be an important step toward determining whether you need to pivot or simply keep putting one foot in front of the other. True love and true success comes with patience, says Turtle Spirit. Focus on the now, and the next step will be clear. Pushing too hard or rushing to leave others in the dust is not the way of Turtle Spirit. Even if it seems at times it is the way of the world. Turtle Spirit wants you to remember that you are a human being, not a human doing. In the protection position, Turtle Spirit is giving you the message that the only thing to do right now is let go of the drive to compete or control and do more. Instead, simply be. As an old Norse saying goes, we do without doing and everything gets done. Spirit conspires on your behalf, so slow to a crawl or even stop, releasing any fear that life is a race that you may not be losing, or that you may be losing. Trust that peace, prosperity, love, and purpose are all yours to enjoy right now. Do not do, simply be. Now let us go on with Buffalo Spirit. Buffalo Spirit comes to you now to remind you of the amazing manifesting power of gratitude and the extraordinary potential available to you when you adopt the mindset of abundance. The ancient people of the Americas saw the buffalo as a symbol of abundance because the herds roamed far and wide and provided so many gifts: the meat, the hide, the bones. The tribes who hunted the buffalo used every bit of them, wasting nothing, appreciative of the abundance. So too do you have many gifts available to you. Trusting that there's always plenty to go around, whether it be love, money, inspiration, or support, it's all there for you to claim. When you are grateful, you immediately align yourself with the truth that the world is rich and teeming with resources. There is always more than enough, and you are always enough. At this time, you can expect all your intentions and needs to come into a form that is right for you. Your heartfelt gratitude is making you a magnet for miracles. Buffalo Spirit's message is to remember that you co-create your reality in partnership with Spirit. So offer up your thanks and your prayers even before you see conditions you desire, not just for yourself, but for others too. Then you will quickly see the results in intangible ways. Gratitude has the magic to grow the good. So offer thanks and praise as you acknowledge all that you have and all that is possible. When Buffalo Spirit visits you with a message of protection, he's asking you to shift your thinking from poverty consciousness to one where you trust the universe will provide. Have you been falling into financial insecurity, worrying that there will be not enough money in the future? Have you been stressing and feeling sorry for yourself, worrying that because you have no romantic relationship now that you will never have one? Do you see scarcity where there is in fact abundance? Are you comparing yourself to others and falling short? Self-pity, entitlement, fear, and lack are all thought viruses that seduce you into darkness. Buffalo Spirit nudges you to make a gratitude list and be mindful of your thoughts at this time. Even if outer events have happened to challenge your beliefs in abundance, outer conditions are temporary. If you are suffering from the malaise of fear that you are impoverished, realize that it is only poverty of perception and perspective. Prayer, communication with your higher power, and gratitude coupled with compassionate self-service will snap you right out of it. Give to someone who has less than you. Be thankful for the tiniest things and say affirmations. Then you will remember abundance is the true nature of the world. Oh, And last but not least, our surprise card, which is the Badger card. Be fearless and bold. Badger Spirit rejoices at your persistence and commitment to what is true for you. Whatever you seek, your tenacity and faith in your partnership with Spirit is paying off. And the results will soon coalesce into form with your world. The gift of Badger Spirit is surety that taking a risk now and being courageous, fearless, and bold will yield wondrous results. This is a time to harness your will and apply it consistently to the pursuit of your dreams. Know that no matter the temporary outer conditions, you will manifest your desires in divine timing and in the form that Spirit deems best for you. Badger Spirit says you have what it takes to get what you want, so assert yourself. Be fearless and bold, shining your light as your purpose calls you into the world. New relationships are also given a green light now. Don't be afraid to make the first move. Badger Spirit loves your brave and mighty heart. When Badger Spirit comes to protect you, he reminds you that anger or aggression of argumentative behavior and being pushy or manipulative will not result in a positive outcome. Perhaps someone close to you has access to Badger energy, or perhaps that energy is pent up in you. Maybe this is a real sign for somebody. Either way, now is the time to calm down and allow the energy to pass through you. Go for a hike or a brisk walk, shake it off or dance it out so you can return to the situation determined and committed, but not so intense that you overwhelm your others and yourself. So remember what the movement card said. Depending on when it's to be exerted. In this case, those angry feelings, shake them off. The appearance of Badger Spirit also serves as a reminder if you've been relentlessly pursuing something that keeps eluding you. The message is that it's time to surrender it up to your higher power and focus on something else. Badger Spirit wants to protect you from self-will run rampant, from being obsessed with getting what you want in the form that you prefer, in timing that fits perfectly with your notions of what has to be. Remember, the world doesn't revolve around your wants. Better, more beautiful opportunities will be the result when you release some of the Badger Spirit intensity along with your need to have it your way 100%. If that wasn't a slap in the face for somebody, some of you, oh my goodness, I don't know what was. But you know what? I sincerely hope that this helps, and I will see you guys next time.